Hey everyone, and welcome back to another storytime video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the subreddit Are Such Entitled Parents. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the stories. 2 or 3 years ago, I went on a cruise with my mother and my friend with his mother. We grew up together as our families are really close, so we're practically like siblings. This was an 8-day cruise departing from New York City, going around the Caribbean, and then going back up the ship was one of the really nice such famous ones with tons of restaurants, pools, water slides, etc. It had a capacity of over 2,000 guests. On the second day, our parents made friends with another group of families, and we decided to head out together that day. Once the boat pulled into port, we met at breakfast to plan the day. There were quite a few families with younger kids, and of course all young kids left to their own discretion. At opened buffets were wild and Canuck gross later on. I overheard one entitled parent complaining to someone about their kid. Apparently kid wasn't feeling well and hadn't wanted to come. But in town, parent didn't want to leave them behind to laze around in that room as they had spent so much money to go out and have fun. I didn't think of it as something too serious. So we carried on around halfway through the day. While hiking in the middle of nowhere, on some small mountain, I started having serious stomach cramps. They got to the point where I would have to stop and breathe every 10 minutes or so. My mom and my friend decided to leave the rest of the group to help me back to where our tour bus was waiting, as I was clearly in no condition to continue hiking. It took us a while since I was in so much pain, but eventually we got back on the bus where I could attempt to sleep and wear it off. We assumed I had gotten food poisoning or ate something bad. What I hadn't known, and found out later, was that kid from earlier wasn't just not feeling well. He had no ravenous symptoms, include severe vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, muscle aches, fever, and fatigue, flush lethargy. It can last days, which doesn't seem long, but keep in mind that it was an 8-day cruise and is extremely contagious, especially in close quarters. Well, guess what? We just happened to be in a closed-off ship with thousands of people with open buffets just waiting to be contaminated by the next day. The third eye wasn't the only one not feeling well. Everyone in our room had got it. My mom, my friend his mom. There was a small line in front of the clinic by the time we got there, including a couple of the families who went on the hike with us. Literally everyone suffering from similar symptoms. The medical staff, it was some sort of Tylenol-esque medication, and told us to stay in our room for the next while so that we didn't pass it to anyone else. We listened to them. Entire parent did not entail. Parent continued to take their kid around to the watersides, buffets, shows, despite everyone warning her not to. Her son was still very much sick, but she wanted him to have the best experience on his first. If a cruise on the 4th day, word of mouth told me that it was quickly spreading. The crew started offering free movies and in-room catering for those who were sick in a futile attempt to keep them in their rooms. Live shows were canceled because even the performers were getting sick on the 5th day. The crews announced that they could not dock the ship at the stop of the day. Local authorities had heard of the outbreak and 4 bidders from entering the pour. Everyone was in a lot of pain. I could barely hold down water without throwing up. Felt dizzy if I did as much as stand up, and just in general felt like utter absolute crap. I had Tylenol and rest, though, and by about the 6th day, both my friend and I were well on the mend. We dared to spend a few minutes outside. No open herbal windows in the room made us crave fresh air. The population outside was decimated. If you've ever been on a cruise before, it's like a mall on Boxing Day. There are people everywhere talking and laughing and eating and doing whatever you do on a cruise. But that day the ship was almost empty, other than some employees wearing gloves and face masks and a few lucky stragglers. We probably saw her around 100 to 200 people in comparison to the 2,000-person capacity in order to have a good time in town. A parent let her kids spread the virus to almost everyone on the ship. There is no vaccine for no ravirus. So literally nobody could have been safe. Not to mention cruise ships always have many retired elderly with lower immunity levels. She didn't just ruin literally everyone's vacation. She put people at genuine risk as well. I don't think her son should even have been allowed to board the ship in the first place if they had known he was sick. As I believe there are some regulations about bringing contagious diseases into the closed environment. How moral of this story is, don't take your sick kids on vacation. If you do have to for some reason, at least leave them in that room and let them recuperate instead of passing it around. It's not only better for everyone else, it's better for them too. For some reason, I keep imagining this story. It's just one big game of Plague Inc. If you've ever played that game, you have to infect everyone. It just reminds me of it so much. So I'll tell a little backstory. In Finland, we have this thing called TET, which is like a work experience thingy in the 8th grade. It lasts a week. I was 14 and I had taken a job in a tech store. It was good. I'm somewhat nerdy and I know about technology and computers. So I had been working there for a few days and it was Thursday around 2 p.m. I had about an hour left of work since the TET rules said that work time was 6 hours. I always behind the cash register desk, filling the cabinets with some phones that had arrived in a shipment that day. Then the entitled mom and entitled kid entered in the store. Manager was in the storage, the mom was in her 40s, and the kid was about 11 to 13. Hello, welcome to the tech store. How can I help you? Good afternoon. My son is looking for a keyboard. I pointed to my left where the gaming products were, and they were mostly Razer products available. The others were sold out, and the store didn't have much of the accessories on that shelf. Feel free to look around. Thanks, the entitled mom and the entire kid walked over and I kept on filling the cabinet. I heard some discussion from behind me, but I didn't bother to listen to it. Sometime later, I was done and looked over to them. They were looking at the prices and thinking about it. Need some help? Yeah, I don't understand the difference between this Black Widow Ultimate Chroma and this Ornatic Roba. They look alike. Can you please tell me the difference? The Black Widow is better. It's mechanical. Like I told you, the kid has this high-pitched voice, a really irritating one. Your son is, right? The difference is that the Black Widow is mechanical and has a faster response times than the OR Nutter, which is Men Kanaka Googly. If you don't understand, the Black Widow was also more expensive. But that is logical since it was mechanical. The Intel mother looked over the Intel kid who was smiling. We will take this one. Then the internal mother walked to the register and I scanned the barcode. The keyboard was 129 euros. All right, Mom, that will be 129 euros. What 130 euros for a piece of plastic? What do the hell? Calm down, Mom. It's the normal price. My son plays competitively. He needs this, really. What does he play? The Intel kid looked at me. I play Kiss Go in a professional team. I just looked to him holding my laughter. This underage kid has just told me that he plays at K16 game professionally. It was hilarious. K16 is the equivalent of the rating teen. Oh, really? What's the team name? The kid smiled more. His smile. Can I look like a troll face? Our team is called Killer Bee Esports, translated name. I just burst into laughter. This kid has just told me of a group that I didn't know of. Hold on, I'll check. I looked at the team on my phone. I found a Steam group and looked at it. One of the members was called Gay Swede, Psychonex. 69. I was laughing so hard because the kid was so serious about being professionals. I'm sorry, kid, but this gaming group is far from being professional. Even if you were professionals, I couldn't give the keyboard for free since you weren't sponsored by us. The store was part of a chain. The mum was looking at me being very angry. What do you not forget? He is a professional gamer. He is good. I have watched him play. We need to get this for free. You are so rude, young man. I'm sorry, but he's not professional. I see no awards or anything to reference some sort of esport activity. I used to play for the 3D Max Juniors that doesn't exist and that isn't even Finnish. I just left even harder. I couldn't help it. This kid was so bad at lying. Are you kidding me? Look at you. You're not even old enough to play CSGO. Not professionally, he's underage. That's your best argument. How old are you? I'm 14, you're 14, and you call my son underage. Shame on you. It's my TT week, so it's part-time in town. Mother was looking at son with a weird smile, and the kids smiled back. She turned to me. We'll make a compromise. I will pay the full price. I was getting suspicious from the tone of her voice, which had turned to a kind and soft voice. And I get those headphones from the shelf place to a pair of Razer Kraken 7.1 S 110 euros. I looked at her with an annoyed gaze and stayed quiet for a moment. Are you kidding me? You're asking for a keyboard and a headset for the price of one. I explained to her that we have some bundles sometimes, but she can't just make one out of thin air. She just looked at me annoyed. Let me talk to your manager, okay? Points to some security cameras. Don't think of trying to leave. You have cameras watching you at work to the warehouse and called for the store manager Pekka to come and help me with customer gear. Surprisingly, the entitled mother and entitled kid hadn't left Hello Mom and Pekka. What seems to be the problem? Your part-time employee is rude to me and makes fun of my son. That's not entirely true. She claimed her son is a professional gamer in a team and they are trying to get equipment for free, ma'am. Is this true? No, he's lying. The manager was just there looking at the angry bum, her kid and me. I'll check the camera recordings. He said that and went into the security room. Sometime later, he came out, ma'am. I have to ask you to pay for the keyboard and leave. What the F? He's rude to me and my son. We need these for free. My son is traumatized after your behavior. The other option is for you to not pay and leave without the keyboard in town. Mother just looked at us and hesitantly paid for the keyboard and was about to leave until she yelled from the door. You lost a customer for life. I'm not coming back here ever again. Despite her actions, my work experience went well. I got good points for the work. Sometimes when I go into the store, I talked with Pekka about the pro player kid, and we laugh. Surprisingly, the entitled mother of the kid never visited the store anymore. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on another video. But enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.